Okay, this is part 2 of this. So in the first part we covered how to build the actual press. And in this part, we're going to cover how to build the drawboard for the press. So there is a part 1 to this. This is part 2 on how to build the drawboard itself. So for me, I scoured the internet for what seemed like weeks and weeks and weeks trying to figure out the best way to build a drawboard. Homemade, didn't want to spend $250 to $400 on a drawboard. Didn't want to use a boat winch from Harbor Freight. Didn't want to use some clunky worm drive. Wanted something small, compact, just like we have here. And I think this is the best way to do this. Okay, so what you're going to need. This is an electric fence tensioner, is all this is. I think I paid $3.99 for it at Murdoch's. Okay, it's got a flip up so you can't let off. So that piece is going to be our actual winch. Okay, from there, you're going to need some sort of an eye bolt. I want to say it was like $1.99 for the eye bolt. You're going to need a little pulley. This one is a lot bigger than I needed. This one's got like a working load limit of almost 500 pounds. They make them smaller. Just make sure that it's over whatever the draw weight of your bow is, just to be safe. Okay, I want to say that was like $10. Then I've got a clip here, $1.99, and some paracord. Okay, so that makes up pretty much the whole winch system. Now, you're going to need a handle. All this is 1/2-inch cold roll that I bent at a 90. And then I've got a little chunk of pipe on here with a washer welded on the end so that it'll actually roll in my hand. Okay. I drilled a hole in the actual winch right here to accommodate that 1/2-inch cold roll. So I drilled that out. The cold roll then gets put into the hole we just drilled. A hole gets drilled down between the two with a cotter key holding it in place. Okay, that is pretty much the entire system. So we can let it out. We can bring it in. Now, all that is it's welded on some metal tubing that fits inside the outrigger of the actual bow press. Okay, so all that does is slides right in there, and we're ready to go. Now on the other side, all this is a 4-inch bolt. That same thing was welded on some tubing that'll slide in and out of the press, and then it's plasti dipped over the threads. That's all this side of the drawboard is. All right, so let's put this thing in here. So I'm going to pull my bow out of the vise, or out of the press. Okay. That's going to sit on there. Now, we're going to undo our winch here. Bring it over. Make sure it's not twisted. And we are going to tie it into our D-loop. Okay? I have a safety here so that if my D-loop does break, I've got some paracord tied around the hook to catch it. Now, I am also going to put an arrow in here because I don't want to dry fire. We have flipped this down, so we're good to start drawing. Okay, and it cams over. right there. Okay. And right there, the bow is at full draw. So now I can check timing. We can do whatever we need to with the bow at full draw. I can hook a scale up to it, see what it does there. So a lot of people are going to say, oh, you don't have fine adjustment here to check your timing. Well, that's when I can use the press here and I can work it in and out for that super fine adjustment. So we're ready to let the bow down. I'm going to flip our switch and let the bow down. And nothing here, there's not the full 70 pounds on the handle. I saw a lot of comments like that when I was doing my research on how to build something like this. Guys are saying, well, you have the whole weight of the bow, and in this setup, you don't. It is not hard. That's a 70-pound bow, and there's nothing hard about it as far as letting it down. So that's all it is. This entire drawboard cost me less than $20 to make. Nothing about it was hard. Yeah, some paracord, a pulley, a hook, an electric fence tensioner, and an eye bolt, and then some 1/2-inch cold roll steel for the handle. This entire setup between the press and the drawboard, a guy could do for under $100.